Remember when this guy was announced and everyone, yours included, thought, oh yeah, total Studio Series Megatron remold from this guy. And then Hasbro said, no, we're not using any of the primes from Age of the Primes for retool. And we thought, okay, well, I'm even more curious now how it's going to turn out.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's here now. And spoiler alert, yes. Or rather, like, this is the one, guys. Holy frick. Like, oh my god. Just, I held him, and I just went, yes. Like, he is perfect. Like, look at that head sculpt. You can just hear Frank Welker coming out of it. Just the way he feels, the way he moves, the way he looks. Now they're going for maximum Sunbow animation accuracy, and I'm pretty sure they nailed it. First off, size comparison. Optimus Prime. He's about the same height. Maybe a little bit taller. Let's get through as many size comparisons as we can. Siege Megatron. I retroactively hate this thing now. This thing sucks. You suck. Like, look at him. Look how freaking clean he is. You can't even tell what he transforms into. It's so good. Starscream.
Soundwave. Lord Megatron.
Spockwave. Shockwave. Here he is with classic Voyager Megatron. Here he is with... I shouldn't have to explain this one. It's like looking into the future. So yeah, they really put their whole ass into this robot mode. Oh my god. Articulation. Let's talk articulation. Head is on a ball joint. You can get as much waggle out of it as you want. He can look up, he can look down, rotate it all around. Like, he's even got an appropriate gurn, or just frown, unlike the Siege. Shoulders are universal. They go out all the way for a T-pose. You get a butterfly shoulder joint. If you want more outwards, you can butterfly them. You do have a bicep swivel. A knee is here. The elbow bends beyond 90 degrees, and it locks in at the back. You have a ball-jointed wrist with individually articulated fingers! Well, sort of. You've got one finger, and then the other one's fused together. But they are articulate. And he can point. A pretty decent go get him point. Unfortunately, he can't flip off Starscream. That would be perfect. Waist swivel. The hips are those ones that move with the skirt, so full range of motion, back and forth. You can even move the skirt flaps out of the way for side to side. Thigh swivel. Good deep knee bend. You have a downward toe joint. You have a forward ankle joint. And you have a really deep ankle pivot. Like, oh, it kind of takes the shin with it, but like, the only other thing I could ask for would be either an ab crunch or ratchet joints. Like, those are the only things I could ask for, because like, pretty much everything you want is in this Megatron, and he makes it work. Now, if you want to be nitpicky, you could say the arms aren't long enough, they don't reach his knees, but his arms would be way too long at that point. They have to be like that much longer. But, yeah. I'm sure somewhere in the Sunbow, because if you don't know, like, many different companies did animation for G1, and somewhere in the Sunbow, I'm sure his arms were that long. So, it's accurate somewhere. Although, doesn't he look a bit kind of naked? Kind of missing something on this arm? Well, the fusion cannon. I was willing to skip over the gray of the shins because traditionally it's a deeper black. I was going to skip over it. I can't skip over the fusion cannon. Now, on his arm, it fills its criteria, being a fusion cannon, but it's just a little too disproportionate. Like, this part is supposed to be closer up, and the barrel is supposed to be a bit longer. I could, and you could switch it with the Siege one, if you wanted to screw over Siege even more, which I do. And it kind of works if you use the small tab. So you have options. It won't really fulfill the criteria in vehicle mode. Honestly, I'm willing to live with this. I think he still commands respect with it, even disproportionate like that. Even if you cut the tip of the barrel off just a bit. He's so good you almost don't need the Masterpiece. Like, the only thing I could say that the Masterpiece has that this one doesn't is like a brighter silver, but that comes with the caveat of paint chipping and alternate faces with like laughing face, battle damage, that kind of stuff. Like, those are the only things I'd say the Masterpiece has. I've never even messed with it. He does have other accessories. Because this is Studio Series and based off the movie, he has this laser sword he had in the movie. Don't believe he ever had it again. I'm surprised it wasn't the ball and chain, the flail. He's often seen with. But he needed some melee weapon to combat Optimus. So let's put it in his other hand. It doesn't matter which hand you put it in. Just slide it into the groove of his hand. And be careful with the fingers because they are articulate. Apparently they can be broken if you're not careful, but this is a Megatron sword. That is just, well, it's a thing. Let's get him set up with Optimus. Which hand? Yep, that's the normal one. I put the axe on. Although I'm pretty sure in the fight scene in the movie, they were right here. Punch. Kick. Sidekick. Spinning roundhouse. Whoa, wait, what? That's a bit too much. On the topic of guns, though, Megatron has one. Now, this is supposed to be his original alt mode, slightly. It's missing some pieces, but it is intended to be his alt mode. But for the sake of the movie, I'm going to call it the Pistol of Betrayal. Because instead of using his fusion cannon, he picked up a gun off the battlefield to shoot Optimus and, well, kill him, basically. Spoilers. Which was on the battlefield, but you don't see somebody drop it, but I'm pretty sure it was Sideswipe who dropped it. Or that's the thing that's been said over the years. It's like somebody dropped a gun and Megatron picked it up and shot Optimus. And also, just because I can show it off, Laserbeak fits on his arm. And you recreate that scene. Ah, Laserbeak. Unlike some of my other generals, you never fail me. So, I love this robot mode. I wholeheartedly love this robot mode. You can store, if you want, the gun with that gray tab right there on Megatron's back. And you can also store this thing I almost forgot about. It's a leftover from his original alt mode, but it's such an iconic part of his imagery, of like the barrel right behind his shoulder, that you couldn't leave it out, even though I almost did. And you can also take the sword, and it's not a lightsaber, and also put it on his back. So you can store every accessory he's got, and his wrist can come off. Hold on. I have to click the ball joint. Yeah, okay. I didn't hear it give a solid click. Now, do you remember when Studio Series Optimus came out and he had this sweet package that had awesome art depicting his iconic jump and shoot from the movie? I'm having you guys remember a lot. Unfortunately, nothing of the sort for Megatron. Just a kind of generic Studio Series box, although with a nice picture on it. And even on the back, you do have some artwork from the movie of his attack on the Autobot Ark, right before he screams and transforms. And it's honestly, I was kind of hoping for better, but Or it's part of the attack on Autobot City. It just looks like the Ark because everything the Autobots owned was orange. Like they had the weirdest interior designer ever. So now we have to transform Megatron. And you know what? Let Optimus do it for us.
Megatron, you've got to transform.
And here's his alt mode. Not buying it. Yeah, I figured. Alright, let's actually transform him. So, remove the gun barrel. Remove everything from his back. Remove the fusion cannon. Remove laser beak. Open up his arms. Fold in the hand. Rotate this piece. Close it back up. You have an arm ready to go. Same thing on the other side. The fists only fit in there if all the fingers are tucked, by the way. Give him a good nip and tuck. His arms are ready. We can move the hip skirts all the way to the back. They're going to play a game later. So open up his chest. And we're going to tuck his head in. At the same time, use the butterfly joints to get his arms out of the way. And we're going to move them out. And there's a little tiny piece under his chest panel that you want to rotate there. We're also going to want to take this entire section and rotate it. And keep folding out the arms until they're here. Rotate them. And we'll plug them together in a bit. It's just... you have to make sure it's something like this. There's also, yeah, that hinge. So the legs are going to be a big factor. So come to the back and unhook these pieces. And we're going to fold the front shins forward. And you can take the feet and they're going to tab in. That's the position we're going to need them. I don't want to say spaghetti engineering, but it does kind of feel not the most solid. You can leave things in place if you need to, kind of. But we're going to extend the inside of the leg and then also open them up because there are pieces inside each one that need to fold out. So we got one to the other, like that. Close. This piece is going to wrap around and sort of uniform finish the look of the tank tread. And you want to bend the leg to the point where there's a slot in the hip skirt that's going to tab in like that. And then we'll kind of leave that there for a moment. And do the other leg. Open it up. And just keep opening it up. At both sides. Occasionally rip a piece off, but that's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You didn't need all your fingers. And yep, we're going to tab them in. And we want to essentially double hinge the chest so that it collapses in on itself. It's a little awkward. Trying to figure out and remember specifically where everything goes. But you'll know you have it in the correct spot when you can close like this piece over it, like that. And so rotate the arms forward. You're going to use these series of joints. And also make sure that this chest panel is fully out, because you're going to want to take the leg, this chunk, and tab it in to the thigh up there. And it's going to tab in there. It's going to tab into the body and also tab in multiple places up here. So like tabs in here, 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 and here. Tab like one side. You can do the same thing on the other side. If it's not lining right, it might be shifted down a little, so just shift it up and it should solidly tab in everywhere. And you're going to want to take these bits and use their joint to put them under the arms. And then the feet are going to rotate around like that and fold under to hide them away somewhat. Do the same thing on the other one. This one seems to want to fight a little bit. There we go. Everything should be lined up properly. Now, the fusion cannon, we're going to bring back and we're going to flip this tiny piece. It might be hard to get your nail in it, but there's a seam right there. If you can get a nail in, or if you need a thin tool, but you're going to hinge it so it's right there. And then take the gun barrel and plug it in to form the tank barrel. So when you have this piece sort of flattened out in between like that, this is going to, nope, you actually need the arms like separated but tabbed together, kind of like that. It's a little awkward and maybe hard to explain, but like you want those two middle pieces to tab together because the barrel is going to fit right over them. And then there are little tabs on each arm right in there that tab in to the barrel itself to keep it locked in. And that is your finished alt mode. And oh boy, if they put their entire ass into the robot mode, then they pulled this tank mode out of their ass. Them being whoever the designers were at Hasbro or Takara. Because as far as I can tell, Nobody likes this. If the robot mode gets universal praise, the tank mode gets infinite ways to adjust it to hopefully make it look better. And now the freaking arms don't want to tab in. But it's a tank. I will give them credit. I was kind of exaggerating for the purpose of a joke, but like, it's impressive how that robot mode turns into this, and also how cleanly this tank mode is hidden in the robot. Like, you could probably already guess by the tank treads on the backs of his shins, but that was literally the only piece of kibble on the robot mode. Like, it's actually like a miracle they made it work at all, considering the last time they tried. Oh, hi Siege. We're back to you, are we? And for the sake of it, here's what we thought it might look like with Megatronus. And here's Optimus Prime. For a shot that never happened in any cartoon. Well, the closest we got was probably Armada. There was a Generation 2 cartoon, right? That gives me a thought. I would love to see this toy remolded into Generation 2 Megatron. Like, don't just give us a repaint, give us like use the base mold maybe. Fit the cannon on his shoulder as opposed to his arm, and like give us a splotchy purple and green one. Now for features, you do get a swivel, which pretty much at this point all Megatron tank turrets that are made of arms look incredibly awkward when rotating because where the axis is, it's never going to look right. You do have a little bit of up and down, but you're kind of flexing the plastic more than actually moving parts. And it's got rolling wheels. The feet don't get in the way of it rolling. It rolls pretty well. You can take the sword, plug it just on the side as an accessory, and the gun as well. You can also give the gun to other Transformers. Soundwave. Or, I guess, who used it more predominantly in the movie, Starscream. Die, Autobots! Pew pew, pew pew pew. I did just see that picture of Studio Series Starscream. No, it was Thundercracker. And I don't think it's this mold, but I couldn't tell if it was like they're like photos leaked from a convention. Like, you know, a person in the audience took a bunch of pictures with their phone. And like, I couldn't tell if it was using an existing mold or if it made up an entirely new mold for the Studio Series. And if they do use a new mold, I hope it improves on this, because I want to see that. And I don't know if I want to buy all the Seekers again, but like, I just sold my classics Thundercracker and Dirge because in my opinion I have these. Studio Series Megatron is very good, however. if you can get over the tank mode, if you don't hate the tank mode, I don't hate the tank mode. I don't hate it. I'm not in love with it. I'm not one of those people who want their car. Thankfully, I'm not into that. But like, the robot mode, it's so damn good that he's going to stand on my shelf over there, right next to Optimus Prime, and I'm going to look at him and go, booyah. I know what you thought I was going to say. So, if you can look over a somewhat naff alt mode for honestly one of the best robot modes I've ever seen, then pick yourself up a Studio Series Megatron. I was warned by good old Age, who I bought this from, that these tabs, there are tabs in this tank mode that might be prone to breakage. He did tell me that somebody else who played with this tried too hard to tab in, I think, the front tabs, and they broke on him. So I have not pushed harder than I felt was necessary. So that I hope that's not a deterrent, but it might be a factor. It's just, the robot mode is so good. You know, I had those same feelings about the Bumblebee movie Megatron. The concept art Megatron. He had such an amazing robot mode, but he had two completely naff vehicle modes. So this guy's better because he has only one slightly naff vehicle mode. I also just like this because it's going to piss off, and has probably pissed off, the section of the fan base that can never get over Megatron not being a gun anymore. American gun laws are ridiculous, but it feels like a bad time to bring them up because of what's going on right now, but we're never going to get Megatron turning into a gun again. The only reason they can do Masterpiece is because it's licensed in Japan. It doesn't have to be sold to America. And also it has the orange cap, probably. But even then, I don't think Hasbro would want to put an orange cap in his ass. He's just going to be a tank from now on. We're just going to have to accept it and move on. But they're not going to move on. They're going to keep complaining, which makes it fun. Because then I can freaking troll the hell out of them. This is what you wanted? This is what you... Like, this whole video is just a troll on the people who still want Megatron to turn into a Walter P-38. So, until next time, thanks for watching. I can't come up with any good new tank puns. Look at that swivel. You need a Studio Series Megatron, damn it. Everyone needs one. Even if you're not a huge Transformers fan, you think Megatron looks cool. Buy one! The robot mode is just that damn good. The best damn sports show, period? No. The best damn Megatron, period. Buy one. Buy one. Keep it weird as well. See ya.